Whoa. Again. I swear to God, I'm gonna be making one of these videos every 6 months for the rest of my life. It never ends. So things have not gotten better for South Park in the past half a year since I made my last video discussing the current goings-on. Back then, I was hoping we were finally starting to see the end of the streaming wars. But now it seems like things are only getting started as Warner Brothers and Viacom have still yet to agree on what they want to do with South Park, to the point where the show's upcoming season, the first season of South Park to air in over 2 years, had to be delayed, seemingly so they can continue figuring out how they want to settle this. Also, where to put the thing, now creators Matt and Trey have broken their silence on the issue, coming out and expressing just how pissed off they are that this whole thing is preventing them from putting out the episodes that are presumably done, one of them at least. But when things finally seem to be coming to an end, after years of the streaming wars between Max and Paramount Plus, with the contract giving Warner Brothers exclusive streaming rights to the show expiring, and all previous episodes of South Park after like half a decade coming to Paramount Plus. And that's, unfortunately, when the next set of issues started to rear their ugly head. Not only did things start out on a sour note, with Paramount outright refusing to stream a series of episodes that were never banned before. I mean, I'm sure we all expected the usual contenders, 200, 201, super best friends. South Park is not new to the odd banned episode here and there. However, folks started to realize this time around, there were a ton more left on the chopping block. Some make a little sense even if banning any South Park episode goes against Matt and Trey's philosophies on censorship, but especially with what's going on in the world right now, I could see why Paramount would get cold feet. Passion of the Jew, Chupacabra, Ginger Cow, noticing a pattern with these episodes, even though, they were all fine on HBOMax like, a week ago. On the other hand, though, you have episodes that nobody had ever really bat an eye towards, like Simpsons Did It, You Got F'd in the A, Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. Some classic episodes in there, none of which really sparked any kind of controversy. I'm sure we all hate the Pip episode, but did it really need to get erased from history? Okay, well maybe, but it's strange. Seeing Paramount preemptively react to a controversy that hasn't even happened yet. I would have told him to keep it all there and let folks get mad. Let's be real, any publicity is good publicity, and if there's anything Paramount Plus needs right now, it's some goddamn publicity. Aside from how fucking crappy their business decisions are, well, even worse is, as of yesterday, Paramount Plus have just removed South Park altogether from their streaming service, meaning the only place you can watch it right now is Max, which since my last video has now been renamed back to HBOMax. Make up your goddamn minds. So yeah, all of that, 5 fucking videos over the past 3 years about this shit, only to end up back at square one. And you can't even see a silver lining in this by saying, well, at least we're finally getting new episodes again next week. Because what's to say they don't just delay it again? Where are these episodes releasing to? Max no longer has the rights to stream the show, or maybe they do as Viacom expressed interest in now continuing Warner Brothers' contract, along with also allowing the show to be streamed on Paramount Plus too. But who knows how much longer Paramount Plus will be a thing, as they're still bleeding money. Millions and millions by the day as the government continues to block their upcoming merger with Skydance, and I don't even want to know what the fuck that is. All this is to say, I do not envy a single person involved in this whole ordeal. No one at Warner, no one at Paramount, and especially not Matt and Trey, who are now expressing their desire to take legal action against Paramount, claiming that their new president is meddling with their negotiations between South Park, Warner Brothers, and Netflix, who are now throwing their head into the ring, expressing their desire to have the streaming rights to South Park. This will never end. Now, Matt and Trey's displeasure comes down to a lot more than simply being angry they can't air their new season yet. Those restaurant renovations were expensive. If you haven't watched the Casa Bonita documentary yet, I'd highly recommend it, just to get an idea of how much those two had to struggle to open this thing. You can watch it on Paramount Plus. At the end of the day, this all comes down to money, and so while publicly their response boils down to, this merger is a shit show and it's fucking up South Park, we are at the studio working on new episodes and we hope the fans get to see them somehow. Behind the scenes, it seems as if there's more being factored into this. Mainly, it appears that Paramount are somehow still unsure of what they want to do with South Park, despite it being, 3 fucking years. Anyways, because of this uncertainty, they've been pitching different avenues, one of which includes extending their streaming contract with HBOMax, but new episodes only get a stream there 1 year after they release on Paramount Plus, as well as shortening their contract from 10 years to only 5. This obviously would result in a worse deal for Matt and Trey. If there's less of a plus for Warner Brothers, then that means they wouldn't bid nearly as much for the show. I mean, why would they? This, then, naturally, leads to Matt and Trey getting less money from the deal. To clarify, I ain't saying they just care about the money or whatever, get that bag, you know, make that Kendrick Lamar movie. But in response to this, Matt and Trey's company, Park Carney, have threatened to take action against Paramount's tampering. That's right, this is no longer an issue between Paramount and Warner Brothers, but an issue between Paramount and South Park. Now, why is this? Why is Paramount so unsure of what they want to do with South Park? And to that I say the simple answer is, Paramount doesn't know what they want to do, period. See, Paramount have been banking on this upcoming merger with Skydance. It was meant to be closed during the first half of 2025, but since that didn't happen, they were subject to not only a 90-day extension, but 2 90-day extensions, meaning they now have until October to figure things out. Which they desperately need to, as if not, Paramount will be required to pay a termination fee of $400 million. Basically, they need this to happen. As of now, they're still waiting on final approvals, and from there we'll see where this shit show takes us. Let's just say I would not be surprised if Paramount faces bankruptcy or gets acquired by another company within our lifetime. Anyways, we're here for South Park. What does this mean for South Park? Well, with this merger means a new CEO for Paramount, Jeff Shell, who is currently the CEO of Skydance. And a new CEO means new opinions on what decisions they want to make. And so, it seems like what has happened at the end of the day was this. Paramount as well as Matt and Trey received a lump sum of money to put South Park on Warner Brothers streaming service HBOMax, accepting a whopping $500 million in exchange for giving them the rights to stream every episode of South Park for the next half a decade or so. They also agreed to let HBOMax stream every new episode of South Park created within that time, of which it was to be expected they'd receive 10 episodes a year. Not long after this, Viacom decided they wanted to launch their own streaming service to capitalize on the boom, in which they launched Paramount Plus. But oh no! Our marketing strategy not only sucks, you have fucking ugly blue borders, whose idea was that? All their billboards look like fucking Scott the Woz videos. But we also just gave the rights of one of our longest running and most popular shows to a rival streaming service for the next half a decade. Or so. Well hey, I got a wise idea. Let's give Matt and Trey $900 million in exchange for creating 2 new South Park episodes every year for our streaming service. But I thought we couldn't stream any new South Park episodes per the very expensive contract we signed. Did I say episodes? I meant special events. It's completely different. Our contract said nothing about special events. Huh. Well, okay. With this, Matt and Trey were now contractually obligated to create 1 hour and 30 minutes of new South Park every year for Paramount Plus. And so either Paramount Plus encouraged them to do this, or perhaps they got a little sneaky, who knows. But in the end, Matt and Trey decided that they would simply take that hour and 30 minutes, chop it off their regular South Park season, and make those the special events. We get close to $1 billion for the same amount of work we had to do anyways? Brilliant. Not brilliant. Because Warner Brothers saw right through this trick, maybe you shouldn't have made a special about it, and with this, Warner launches a lawsuit against Paramount for doing, well, pretty much everything I just said. With this, new South Park episodes and special events come to a crawl, as nobody knows what the hell is going on anymore, including Matt and Trey. This has dragged out for so long that now the Warner contract has run out, meaning South Park can finally make its official entrance to Paramount Plus. But wait. During all of this, Paramount's been accepting a merger with Skydance to try and save their rapidly failing company, but hurdle after hurdle keeps preventing it, meaning all they're doing is draining their funds. And so in a desperate need for money, they've come to one genius conclusion. Hey, let's sell South Park streaming rights for the next half a decade. It worked out so well the first time. Although now Matt and Trey have to deal with this new Skydance CEO, who's been hindering their abilities to get the best deal they can, with him wanting to make sure they latch onto South Park for as long as they can. Who knows what will come from this? Maybe South Park will go back to HBOMax, maybe it'll go to Netflix, maybe it'll stream on all 3, just fucking make it simple. But no matter what, this will definitively go down in South Park history as one of the biggest shit shows possible. And all this just leaves us with one final question. Why the fuck was the show taken off Paramount Plus entirely yesterday? Like, this is what you've wanted, right? Banning a couple episodes, sure, I guess that makes sense. But trying all these loopholes to get some form of South Park on your streaming service, so desperately that you've put yourself in this situation we're seeing right now, you finally get it all to yourself again, and you remove it 10 days later. Is a monkey making the decisions over there? Well, this is what Paramount said in response to that. We understand your frustration. Unfortunately, South Park has come to the end of the window in which we have the rights to carry it on Paramount+, which is why it has now had to come down from the platform. Did ChatGPT write this, my brother in Christ? You own the show! In reality, it seems like they're preemptively getting rid of it to have it remain on HBOMax. Honestly, I can see them prepping for an altogether shutdown of Paramount+, South Park are now. It's also likely they recognized that Matt and Trey are a valuable asset to them, and so them publicly criticizing their actions might have caused them to back down and let them continue with negotiations on their own terms. Who knows? Not me, I'm just making a video about it. You know, I ended my first video on this subject by saying that no matter what comes of this deal, South Park fans win since all they get from this is more South Park. But I could not have been more wrong. It is the South Park drought of 2023, 4, and 5. I'm coining that, that's mine, don't steal. But hey, at least we finally have season 27 to look forward to. I hope.